Kane Archer has committed to UCF, but what made the young man choose the Knights?
You are Locked On UCF, your daily podcast on the UCF Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On UCF, your daily UCF podcast. I'm your host, Mike G, and thank you so much for making Locked On UCF your first listen of every single day. Joining me is a special guest, the most special guest we've had in Locked On UCF history, recent quarterback commit. Kane Archer joins the show. Kane, today we're going to talk about why you chose UCF, what you see there in the future of QB down in Orlando, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like for you committing to Scott Frost. But let's start with the obvious, Kane. Why UCF? You had an impressive offer list, a lot of SEC schools, a lot of Big Ten schools on your list. You chose to commit to Scott Frost, McKenzie Milton in Orlando. Talk to me, man. Why UCF?
Yeah, I would just say, it's like most people are looking for how big the logo is or kind of stuff like that. Like, my thing is, if I'm going to send myself far away, like I'm 16 hours from Orlando and like driving wise. So like, I want to go to a place where I trust that I'm going to be developed and where I trust myself to be every day. And I know I'm going to, even if I'm not going to see the field year one, I'm going to develop as a player and as a person and be around just good people overall. So Coach Milton came down here in January. I think it was January 17th, and he watched me throw. I was actually playing basketball at the time, but he watched me play a basketball game, and it was terrible, but it's all right. He watched me play and watched me throw, and he offered me the same day. And then ever since January, like, we've been talking. And like, his thing was, he didn't necessarily like focus on, like, not every phone call was how's football going? How's football going? Like, it's how's family, how's life, And like, that's something that's like genuine to me. Like, if I'm gonna go 16 hours away from home, like, that's somebody I want to be with every day. And another part of like Coach Milton too is he's played the position. He's played at UCF. He knows what it takes. So most coaches, like, I don't say this in a disrespectful way, but some coaches think that they fully understand. You don't fully understand until you've done it. And that's with anything in life. But Coach Milton's done it to the highest level, and he knows what it takes. He knows what looks right and what looks wrong. So that's something that that stood out for me, and why I wanted to go to UCF was Coach Milton, just like him as a person and him as a coach, Coach Frost as a coach. Like, they know what they're doing. And I feel like I can get developed there and win a lot of football games.
It's interesting. So he was your primary recruiter. And as someone who was part of an undefeated squad, like, he was the QB of that 2017 team that I think they ended the season beating Auburn in a bowl pretty soundly. How important was it for you during your commitment to have a guy like McKenzie Milton, who's not that removed from playing major college football? Is it that you feel like he understands the game and what it's like for you to be in your shoes? What part of that process with him do you think was the most important in getting you to commit?
Well, we sat down. He came to the school, and we watched film too, and all this type of stuff. And we sat down, and we watched my film together. And some coaches want a 6'4", 6'5" quarterback, and Coach Milton's not the tallest. I think we all know that. He's not the tallest. I'm not the tallest. I'm about 6'5", 6'1". And he looked me in my eyes, and he was like, "Hey, man, I don't care how tall you are. If you can ball, you can ball." And that's like, it really it did something to me. Like, if you're a player and you want it, you're gonna make it happen. So him saying that, doing it at UCF, going undefeated, like, he's gonna trust me and I'm gonna trust him. Like, that he doesn't just say anything for no reason at all. So that him being short, me being short, like, it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you felt like there was a genuineness there in the recruiting process. Like, you genuinely connected with Coach Milton. Talk to me about Scott Frost, though. Like, this is his second stint down at UCF. He's a guy who's very familiar with that area. But you're an Arkansas kid, and you had an offer from Arkansas, but you're choosing to go to Orlando, right? Like, how did Scott Frost get in there and say, Kane, this is the place for you?
I would say more. Well, we sat down. I went on my unofficial visit there a couple weeks ago. it's about a month ago. And Coach Frost and we sat down for about an hour each day. I was down there for 2 days, and we sat down and we talked ball and we talked development. And he takes the approach of nothing else matters but winning. And that's my whole thing. Like, I don't care how many touchdowns I throw for. I don't care how good it looks. If we win, that's what matters. And like, he's going to find every way to win. So that's my goal every time I step on the field is how do I win? If it looks good, if it looks bad, if it's not pretty, like, I don't care. Let's just win. So that was my main thing with him. Like, he's going to put the best people in the right situations at all time and do what's best for the team. So that's what you want for your head man.
Kane, you threw for 3,800 yards, I think, last season, 57 touchdowns. You were pretty prolific with your arm, but what really stood out to me was 81% completion percentage. Kane Archer is throwing darts. Your film is impressive. Let's talk about how you fit in that system. I think that, there's a lot of room for accurate quarterbacks at the P4 level, especially. You are an accurate guy. Like, what makes you so accurate? And did Scott Frost and McKenzie Milton talk to you about when you sat down and watched film with McKenzie? What kind of things did you guys point out on film that he really liked about your game?
So obviously UCF is a fast tempo paced offense that wants to air the ball out. Where I'm at right now, we're on the spread, we're hurry up, we're tempo, we're all of that. So that was another major factor of why they wanted to recruit me, was because it translates. Yeah. You're going fast. You're getting up to the ball. You're snapping it in 13 seconds. Like, let's go. But on the accurate part of it, I work with Coach Christensen and Jared Park. Coach Christensen has Patrick Mahomes and Will Howard and all of these guys, and I work with him. And I actually changed – we talked about this before we got on, but I actually changed my throw motion sophomore year in the summer. I'll never forget it. It was February it was not summer. It was spring, whatever, winter. It was February 18th, and I changed my throw motion. I went to Coach Christensen's house, and we went out and hit the field the next day, and I'd never thrown better in my life since then. I've never had arm pain since then. And it's more of just letting your arm just go. Let your feet do your work. Get your angles right. We talked about angles. Just get your angles right and manipulate the guys on defense where you don't have to throw the ball 80 miles an hour every time. Get it to where it's supposed to be every time by getting your feet set, moving this guy. So I would say that's part of me being accurate, is just manipulating guys, getting set to where I'm supposed to be and letting the ball go on time.
Yeah, that's so interesting, right? Changing your throwing motion is hard to do. As a matter of fact, a lot of QB coaches don't like to tinker with throwing motion. So you got that flipped over kind of early enough in your development to make you, the accurate QB that you are today, which I think is going to pay dividends for you down the road. Kane, kind of sticking with the theme of the system, guys want to know that they're going to throw the ball. And UCF struggled throwing the ball last year. As a matter of fact, I think it was probably the biggest weakness they had on the team was they couldn't move the ball through the air. Did you get an idea from your coaches about, what their general run pass ratio is? And do you consider yourself a dual threat QB? You're no slouch running the ball. I can tell you, I see you. You can move.
I would say they want to throw the ball. Like, that's what they want to do first. Like, if Coach Frost, like, he wants to throw the ball, he wants to put points on the scoreboard. Like, that's what every offense wants to do, right? You just got to have the right guys to do it. And I feel like they're starting to kind of develop that into the program, is we're going to throw the ball. We're going to throw the ball. I mean, yeah, you're going to run the ball. That's part of the game. And like, you've got to be balanced. You got to be balanced across the board. But their first thing is they want to throw the ball. Let's score points. Let's air it out. So that's kind of what I looked into it for too, because Coach Milton threw his tape on and we sat in his office for an hour and watched his tape, and it was air it out. Just do it the right way. Have the right guys out there and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
Great stuff, Kane. Look, the future of QB looks bright down at UCF. You will be the beginning kind of the rebuild that they're going through down in Orlando. But I want to talk more about the future of QB at UCF next on Locked On UCF. This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder,
Where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you don't stop. You just stop managing your money and start building wealth. Surprising insights, all in one convenience, and you get easy collaboration so you can manage multiple accounts with multiple people. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year.
We're back at Locked On UCF. Joining me is recent QB commit Kane Archer. Kane, let's talk about the future here. Guys want to start. Everybody wants to start. They want to play. And, you know, UCF has gone to the portal to try to fill short-term needs at QB. But recruiting from high school, you will be part of a development and hopefully a natural succession at QB that they're starting down there. You know, what is your mindset coming in to your freshman year? Is it, I want to play now? You know, is it, I'm willing to wait that first year and take time to develop? You know, how do you imagine yourself progressing at UCF once you hit the ground in Orlando?
I would say more of I'm a competitor, so it's going to be hard for me to go in and just be like, you know what, I'm all right. I'll just take my first year and develop. Like, and that's hard for me to just be like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do everything I can to go and try and play and be the number one guy. But if that's not the case, I want to develop. I'm probably going to redshirt, all that good stuff, and sit back and learn and show up every day and work as hard as I can. Because if I can get up to the 2 spot, my first year, injuries happen. Something happens, you know. Like I'm ready for it. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to compete every day, and I'm gonna make the coaches say, "All right, Kane, go." That's my goal personally. So.
Yeah, that's it's, you know, again, the patience that it takes sometimes. You mentioned the red shirt. It's almost like the forbidden word now. Like, you know, a lot of guys don't want a red shirt these days. And so you're saying, hey, if that is my path, I'm willing to take the red shirt and continue to develop and learn and be what the coaches need from the first time that I step on the field. You know, part of the recruitment process and probably the timeline for starting, it's NIL. NIL is such a big part of the game now. Before we started recording, you said something interesting to me. You said, I don't care about money. I'm here to play football. Talk to me a little bit about that mindset here, because the money is part of it now, but you're saying, look, I'm committing to a system and a coach, and, you know, you feel like the money is going to take care of itself if you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I feel like that's the last thing that I should be worried about, because in the end, you said this, if you're successful and you do the right things, the money will find you. And I haven't even talked money with UCF yet. Like, we haven't had any conversations about it. So my thing is, like, if I get on the field and I do what I'm supposed to do, like, everything's going to fall into place. And that's kind of my perspective of it. Just play football. That's why you play. You play because you love the game. You don't play for the money. So that's my mindset on it.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's so important. Like you said, I know we chatted it up before we started, but I feel very strongly in life in general, if you just focus on being the best at what you do, money kind of takes care of itself. I appreciate you sharing that with us. You know, moving kind of forward, you know, you've got to have somebody to throw to, and you've got to have a line, and you got to have some things. You spent your time on the camp circuits, and you played against some of the big time recruits that will be coming into college football next year. We talked about that as well too. Kane, is there anybody out there on the board that you want to be throwing to in 2026? Talk to me, man. Do you have a dream receiver out there?
I'm on Coach Milton about Champ Davis and Braxton Lindsey. Okay. Braxton lives in Rogers. He's actually a DN and a linebacker, kind of hybrid, and then Champ's my receiver. He came from Nebraska, so I'm trying to get on Coach Milton about those two. So yeah,
that should be. I think it's interesting. We see, especially from the QB position, you guys recruit a lot during the recruiting process, so you get your commitment in. And then you talk to the guys that you want to play with to come down. Yeah. Do you feel like getting guys to come to Orlando is an easy sell? Like, you know, we talked a little bit before we started recording about what your recruiting trips are like. Talk to me about the recruiting trip. What stood out about UCF? Facilities, the city, the campus. What did you like that said, hey, I can see myself here for the next 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's my hands are gonna be tied up in the playbook and stuff like that. But you're in Orlando, like there's things to do. There's Disney, there's the beach, there's beach, like there's things to do, So that'll be a little bit different for me. I live in a town of 12,000 people, and I think the location of me living is going to be different, but I can adapt very well. So it's just going to be different, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, talk to me. So you're from a small town. Tell fans about Kane Archer. What does Kane like to do in his free time? If you're not playing football, what are you doing?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm throwing every day on
football.
like football. That's what it is. I'm eating. I'm sleeping. I'm hanging out with friends. We'll go swimming. I recently just got into golf because me and Milton were talking about it. When I get up there, I'm gonna get good enough right now. Like I've never golfed before, and if I showed you a video of me swinging a golf club, you would probably fall out of your chair dying laughing. So it's bad, but I'm trying to get good. So when I get up there, I can go beat him. So I like to golf. I like to play a little college football NCAA on the PS5 with my friends, and mainly just all that good stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm a golfer, and I can tell you it is definitely a great way to spend 4 hours kind of unplugged. For you guys who are really athletic, if you can get the mechanics down, you can hit the ball a mile. But
I'm like tensed up trying to just swing it. It don't work right now, so I'm trying to figure it out.
You got to loosen up those muscles, Kane. Right? You can't be tight swinging a golf club. And Orlando is a great golf destination. Some fantastic golf in Orlando. I played a lot of golf there. But so again, in your free time, you like to spend time with friends, play some video games, but mostly you're saying when I'm not playing football, I'm thinking about football.
Sure.
And trying to develop. What are some other things that you do off the field, Kane, to prepare for your play on the field? What are some habits that you've developed over the years that make you such a good football player?
I would say I take time in trying to eat right, which is a big thing for me because I actually broke my left wrist, non-throwing wrist, my sophomore year, week 3. Came back like 14 days later, and it was a big thing. But I weighed 180 after I had surgery, and now I'm up to 209. So like I take big, like I enjoy the satisfaction of stepping on the scale and being like, okay, like that was a good week. That was a good month. That was a good year. Like I've gained 30 pounds over the past 2 years of solid muscle. So I take time in that. I like to go work out. I had a speed trainer 10 minutes down the road from me that trains Isaiah Joe, who's on the OKC Thunder. He has Trey Norwood, who was a DB at OU, and he's got a bunch of these guys that are professionals, and I like to go work out with those guys. I mean, it's literally 12 minutes on the road for me. So speed training, eating right, working out at the gym, like all that good stuff. Just and like movements that like kind of help my throwing, like medicine ball throws, twisting and throwing, like just stuff like that. So
sports nutrition is such a big, the advent of sports nutrition has come so far. Yeah, I wish when I were in high school, I had the resources that you guys have now as young people to be able to eat right, track your macros, know exactly what you need to eat to fuel your body. It takes a lot of discipline to stick to those. Are you working with a nutritionist, or how are you going through that process?
My dad was a bodybuilder for 3 or 4 years, and he meal preps for me, and he's like, hey, you need this at this time, blah blah blah. So my dad's my biggest guy. He's my man. So he does absolutely everything for me, and he's made everything that I've done now like come true. Like he gave everything for me, and he still is. So that's my guy right there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kane, your dad is your biggest role model, essentially, is what you're telling me. Your dad is your role model. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Your dad is in your life, and as a bodybuilder, you have to know about. Yeah, you got to know macros, right? Like, I've known a lot of bodybuilders, and I can tell you that part that they go into before a show, the 6 weeks before a show, is crazy. The sugar, you got to cut sugar, and you got to do all these things.
I looked at him, and he's like he wants to just, if you're having a normal conversation, like, hey man, how's your day going? It's like he wants to punch you. It's that. Like, he wants a Snickers, man. He wants a Snickers. So yeah. No.
I'm glad you were able to say it. I'm telling you, like, not the nicest people sometimes right before our show, but it takes an incredible discipline, and I think that's the thing that you learn from it. So if you've had that example about discipline in nutrition, there are aspects of that translate to discipline on the football field. But look, moving forward here, I want to talk about what you see in the future at UCF, and we'll talk about what Kane Archer's future looks like next on Locked On UCF. This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Kane, to close the show, I do want to talk about the future of UCF. UCF is now in the Big 12, and you have an opportunity to really, really splash on to the college football scene. We saw Arizona State be picked to finish last in the conference last year, and they made the college football playoff as the Big 12's conference champion. Quite frankly, do you feel like UCF is a place where you could win championships? They may not be the traditional big name, but certainly there's an opportunity there. I think Arizona State proved that last year, that with the right pieces, you can do something special with a 12-team college football playoff. They may not have gotten that opportunity before a playoff. Does the expanding or the consolidation of the conferences and the expanding of the playoff, like, maybe give you more room to say, you know what, I want to go, I've got all these SEC offers, but I want to go to UCF?
Yeah, I feel like that UCF is putting, I said this a minute ago, but everything is like starting to fall into the right spot, and they're trying to do everything well by every player. And I feel like having that trust and having that confirmation of the coaches are going to do everything right for the players, that's what makes a team bond, and that's what makes a team go far. So I feel like with speed and the right pieces, like, you can't, if everything's going right, like, you're going to finish first, and you're going to find your way into some playoff games. And I feel like that'll happen. I feel like I can win at UCF. I feel like we can win at UCF no matter what my role is. So I feel like it's a really good place that good things are fixing to start happening.
Yeah, look, certainly it is the start of something special that they're doing down there. Like I said, you're going to be the first high school QB commit in a string of commits that they will get, but hopefully one that stops kind of like the portal rotation, where you're going to the portal looking for a starter every offseason. All right, they need it this year, but you're hoping to be the guy that is the example of what Scott Frost and McKenzie Milton can do in terms of developing a QB. When you look at your game and you look down the road, what things do you feel like you need to improve and work on? Where can Kane Archer strengthen his game? You're accurate. You've got a good deep ball. You're athletic. You can run the ball. You seem to see the field well and go through your progressions as well too. But where can you be stronger?
I would say it's more of like the little things. Like, I've kind of caught myself, and like most people don't understand or see this, but getting to the next level, like, people see absolutely every move you make. So like sometimes I'll start with my right foot up or left foot up, and then that'll be like a give on, okay, he's throwing a hitch to the left, or he's taking a 3-step drop here to go there. Like, I need to be more precise and like not giving any tells on tape. that's a big thing for me that I feel like I can work on more. And then also, I would like my arm to be a little bit stronger. If I had to say, I could probably throw 58 to 60 right now, and I would like to get 65, 70. Don't know if that's realistic or not, but I feel like I would like to improve there for sure.
Yeah, so arm strength, you're certainly, that you want to. You always can be better at reading plays. But before we started recording, you talked about moving guys where you want them to be, about manipulating the defense. Dig into that for me. About how you are so good at manipulating safeties and moving DBs to create lanes for your wide receivers.
I feel like it's more of like the film process. We talked about this, like the more you watch film, the more you know what this guy's fixing to do and this guy's fixing to do. So when you walk up to the line and okay, they're giving this look, I have this concept here, this concept here. If this guy goes here, I know where I'm going with the ball. Okay, or if I have a good matchup here and I want this guy to move over there, I'm going to take my 3-step drop this way and I'm going to keep my eyes on him the whole time. And the second he takes that one step, I'm letting the ball go. So I don't know. It's just more of like the film process, like watch film and like figure out guys' tell. Like I was telling you about my tell, like I need to clean some of that up just a little bit, but figuring out some guys' tell, like that's, if I can figure that stuff out, like my arm strength is not very good between 55 and 60 or 50 and 60, but between 0 to 30, like I can get the ball where it needs to be precisely. So moving defenders like that makes me even more accurate. So
yeah, it occurs to me that a lot of that also is what you see in the film. Now, you'll have to. The film is a little bit more intense at the college level, but when we talk to guys who have made the jump from college to pro, one of the things they talk about is they had to become elite at watching film. How do you feel like your film habits are right now, and how many hours would you say that you spend right now watching film to prepare for a game?
I would say my film watching. I sit down with my head coach and my offense coordinator and those guys. We're in the film room right now about 5 hours a week, probably an hour a day right now. Not too much, but we're in there watching stuff, and those guys are so detail oriented about absolutely everything that it makes you like not even like sometimes you wouldn't even notice like what he's fixing to say, and it's like, okay, well that's another thing that I can look for when I'm watching film. So I have Coach Hogan and Coach Young, my offense coordinator, head coach, that like they take pride in watching film, and they know that for the next level for me that's a big thing. So they're helping me out, and we're in there watching it every week.
Yeah, that's it's again, you as a student, as a high school student, you've got limited time that you can spend doing certain things, but
sure.
and it's not the same when you get to college. You'll see, you're going to be walking around with an iPad with all your plays on it down there in Orlando. So it's but the film watching is such an important part of the process, right? And if you're spending that time doing that now, I know that's probably something that's going to help you, because you, like you said, during your recruiting trip, you sat down with McKenzie Milton and you guys pulled up film, and he's showing you things already. I know that's got to be encouraging for you.
Another thing is too, I'll add on, like when you get to the next level, everybody's fast. Everybody's big, everybody's strong, everybody's going to hit hard. Like you have to have that advantage over what they're fixing to do, and that's what it is. It's film. Like the film is what separates good teams from average teams. So that's how we kind of look at it here at Greenwood. Like we've won 26 in a row now. So our big thing every week is film. How are we going to get guys in the right position and make them wrong? So yeah.
Before we get out of here, your senior season is coming up. Talk to me about what goals you have this season. Again, you made a huge statistical jump from your sophomore to your junior year, not only in yards but in touchdowns. My brother, if you throw for any more yards this season, you're going to smash a lot of records. What kind of goals do you have? Do you see a 5,000-yard season on the docket here for Kane Archer?
All right, I wish I would see a 5,000-yard season. I don't know if that would happen, but I lost 2 of my starting receivers. They just graduated, so we got a couple new guys coming in. Lost both of my tackles. So we have some pieces to fill in. I feel like I'm going to rush for a lot of more yards this year. I think I ran for 880 last year, 879, something like that. So I want to rush for about 1,500 this year, 1,600, almost double it, and then throw for 4K. So I want to break every passing record, which – it's 10,075 yards. I think I'm 3,300 away from it, if I'm not mistaken. Those numbers are in my head every day. I'll say that. And then the big thing for me is like the record that I'm most concerned about is going 13-0. Like I want to win a state championship. That's my thing. I want to win. So yeah.
Yeah, winning is the most important thing. A lot of things are better in life when you're winning. Kane Archer, I want to thank you for joining me today to let UCF fans know a little bit about you, who you are, and what your goals and how you're going to help the UCF Knights to hopefully a championship in the coming years, man. So thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate you for having me on. Thank you.
Guys, that's it for another great edition of Locked on UCF with my guy, Kane Archer. Follow him on Twitter. His @ is Kane Archer 9. Let's show him some love and let's get those socials up and subscribe here and help us get our socials up as well too. Thank you for making Locked on UCF your first listen of every single day. For your next listen, go check out our friends at Locked on Big 12. You can find Locked on Big 12 on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can find us here tomorrow on Locked on UCF.